My next guest is being awarded my Australian of the Year award for tireless efforts to bring to light the issues that really matter for Indigenous and non-Indigenous people in this country. Someone who believes in bringing us all together, as Ian was just saying, bring us together as one nation, rather than dividing us by tribes. My Australian of the Year, and I'm sure she is yours as well, Northern Territory Senator Jacinta Price, and she joins me now. Australian of the Year, congratulations. You are officially the Rowan Dean Australian of the Year, Senator Price. Great to see you. Thank you for coming on. The gong is here. It's terrific. It's actually shaped a little bit like a bottle of Chardonnay and looks quite like it as well. But, you know, I doubt it'll sit on the mantelpiece for too long. Jacinta, how are you, first of all? As usual, there's been a lot of really nasty stuff. Paul Bongiorno attacking you on Twitter. We've got websites set up to attack you personally. What happened to the left's tolerance of different viewpoints?
Exactly right. Absolute and utter hypocrites. I mean, seriously, I must be very, very threatening to them if they have to come at me as an individual and attack me in the ways that they are. This new T-shirt that they've got out, which really, I mean, on the scheme of things, you know, it's free advertising and
yes.
and you know, name recognition for me. So
what does the T-shirt say?
It says my name.
It says Jacinta Price doesn't speak for me, or something like that, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the one. And too right. I don't speak for smarmy little, you know, university kids on their campus. Why would I want to speak on behalf of them, you know? They need to grow up a bit first before they could even come close to even being able to sit down and have a conversation or even have a debate with me.
Now, Jacinta, I was saying, is all of this, The Voice, a kind of distraction in a way that Labor is cunningly using as they kind of go about doing this dismantling of our economy, bringing in Soviet, I'm quoting the boss of Santos here, Soviet-era style nationalisation of our energy resources. We are one of the wealthiest energy nations on earth, and yet we're getting poorer and poorer, energy poorer and poorer. What do you make of it?
Oh, it's absolutely ridiculous what we had to sit through today, where we pulled from all corners of the country to sit for 3.5 hours for this ridiculous government to ram through a piece of legislation that is not going to decrease electricity bills for everyday Australians. It's going to make circumstances worse, and not only that, but it's going to scare away investment in Australia, and this is absolutely not what we need right now in our country. You know, especially in places like the Northern Territory, where we have years and years, hundreds of years of gas reserves, which all we need to do is tap into those, is bring it into the market and support it. And that is what would alleviate prices, electricity prices, through supporting our gas industry, not smashing it, not spending 2 days on the hop. 2 days they consulted the industry on this particular piece of legislation, and then 3.5 hours where we weren't even allowed to debate the issue. It's utterly ridiculous, and this government is going to have to wear the consequences of the decisions that they're making, that they're being led by the Greens, they're being led by the unions. They can't even think for themselves, and Australians are going to suffer as a result of this.
Absolutely. Jacinta, I had Warren Mundine on the show last night, and he was basically saying something you've been saying a lot, that it's all about jobs. If we want to really close the gap, reconcile Australia, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, it's all about businesses and jobs. And yet we seem to be going the other way. We seem to be closing down or dismantling our economy at the same time we need that economy. Isn't what your constituents in the Northern Territory, more than anything else, need is those mining jobs, those resource jobs?
Absolutely, and the opportunity for traditional owners to utilise their land as they wish. If they want to support the gas industry for gas extraction, let them go ahead and do that. Let them be the job creators of their people. That's what we need to see instead of this continued dependence on welfare, and that's what this government is actually encouraging. It's welfare dependency. Some of our most marginalised in our communities need to get away from welfare and to be able to provide jobs within their own communities. I had a UK TV station come through Alice Springs this week, basically doing a story on The Voice. I took them around all the town camps and showed them where all the disasters have taken place, where people have been murdered, where people have been killed, where people have been, been the victims of alcohol-fuelled violence. The destruction is right there for everyone to see in a place like Alice Springs. I've asked Albanese, and I'll ask him again, Anthony Albanese, please come to Alice Springs and see the destruction. I've been asking him since before the election. He has refused to go there. So what will happen is, with all this legislation, this energy legislation, with all the destruction toward investment in our communities, it is the marginalised who will suffer. It'll be the marginalised who will continue to depend on welfare, and it'll be those that come off worse going forward right now, because this government is an absolute joke, Rowan.
Jacinta, as you were chatting, I was watching my panellists here. They were all nodding along and mesmerised by every word that you say, as so many Australians are. You're an absolute national treasure. You're my Australian of the Year. And as I said, I bet you're many, many thousands, hundreds of thousands of Australians of the Year as well. Thanks so much for coming on. Your award is in the fridge when you're next over at Sky. So we'll see you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Jacinta Price, Senator. Thank you so much.